taught me something new there, mate. Sort me out.
Twinkles.
Yeah, tell me about the string crossing and the twinkles.
Different speeds from string crossing of the notes depending on which variation you have.
Good.
Different parts of the bow with crossing the string depending on which variation you have.
Good. Which one is the one that uses different parts of the, or which ones are the ones that use different parts of the bow?
Different parts of the bow to cross strings would be Dr. Suzuki and theme.
Well done. Gold star answer. Congratulations. So I'm not going to write this level of detail down, otherwise we'll be here all day. But basically, the main thing that we haven't said yet is that in your twinkles you are only using E and A. Yeah. So in terms of the very broad brushstrokes of string crossing, you start on E, pre-twinkle, add A, then we have the twinkles. So somebody else tell me about how your string crossing develops.
Lightly row. So you do a different independent finger than you do in twinkles.
Yeah, good. We're not going to connect up the left hand and the right hand too much because it's just, we're going to get really bogged down in detail, but that's exactly right. But more broad brush strokes. Where's the first time that we've got more complicated string crossing than in the twinkles and lightly row? Sorry?
Song of Wind.
Yeah. Song of the Wind is the first time that you've got what?
You're
In
hopping
terms of
the
string
first
crossing.
Crossing twinkles.
Yeah, just much more, like much quicker. Like all the way through the twinkles and lightly row, you're on one string for a while. Yeah?
Yeah.
Whereas D, for example, is E, A, E straight away. And that's the first time that you've had that. Good. Moving forward, when is our next big jump? So let's do this game again. Next piece, Kit, after Song of the Wind comes. Great. Anything specific for string crossing? Broad brush strokes, not tiny details. Your instinctive answer, yes or no?
Not much.
Yeah, exactly. Well done. Bex, next piece.
Oh, Come Little Children.
Yes or no?
Not particularly. It's still E and A string, but you're sort of starting on an up bow.
Yes. And D. I feel like it's a grey area, isn't it? Sort of. It's up to you how much detail you want to put in. Yes. Good. So I'm not going to write it down. Less is more. Next piece, Joe.
Allegro? No. No.
Ed.
Repertoire.
Oh, Come Little Children.
Oh. Mason.
Mason, well done. For string crossing?
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
You can
Dotted rhythm, D, going A, E, A, is much more complicated than what they've done before, and D is a faster version of what they had in O Come Little Children. Yes, next piece, Ed?
Allegro.
Nope.
Oh,
It's one of the special
long
ones.
ago,
Long
go to
ago. Yes, D
D-string,
string.
yeah.
D-string! So what must you have been doing before you get to long, long ago?
D major twinkles.
Great, D twinkles and other things if you want. Great, good. Next piece, Mimi. Good. Anything specific for string crossing?
No.
Not particularly. Kit, next piece.
Perpetual.
Yeah. String crossing?
Not really.
Not particularly. I mean, you could argue. It's a bit like O Come Little Children. It's like, definitely it's in there, but it's not like a building block. Next piece.
Allegretto.
Good.
So it's on D and A strings mainly.
Excellent, yeah. Because in long, long ago, we just have two quavers on the D string it's the string crossings are both at the heel or balance point. It's easy peasy. Allegretto suddenly much more. And what makes the big difference in allegretto, whether you're working on string crossing or something else, what choice as a teacher that you have to make that makes the big difference? Fourth fingers, exactly. So if you teach fourth fingers all the way through allegretto, you're not practicing do 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 so many string crossings, but you do the four. And if you teach open strings instead of fours, then you're practicing more string crossing and less fours. And so therefore in review, it's a good idea to do whichever one you didn't do first. So you cover both. Yeah? Are you alright there? You're looking a little bit glary.
No, I'm alright. I'm
Okay.
out of some.
Good. Next piece.
That's huge.
No. Thank you. Yes. Joe, tell us about Andantino.
No.
She's got all three.
Three strings.
All three strings.
All three strings.
Right, no. I'm thinking of another song.
No, I don't know.
Da da da. Oh, that's allegretto.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
G string, sorry. Yes, G string. I moved on too quickly. Yes, yes. So same thing as Andantino, as allegretto in terms of the fours. But I hope that you will teach what's in the book. So 2, 3, 4, do 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 a do 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 do. So but if you were to teach 2, 3, A, 3, 2, 1, then you would be practicing more string crossing. Okay, good. Next piece. Hit. Attitude. Yeah. Tell me. Why is it definitely in this context? Yeah, loads of quick string crossing. And one more thing, Kit, before I go on to someone else. Yeah?
Yeah. G string as well.
All the strings.
Yes.
All the strings. Good. Somebody else, one more thing about attitude. For string crossing.
It gets even faster in the doubles.
Yes, well done. And the difference between the singles and the doubles is not just speed, but also where the string crossing happens, right? Because in your singles, dum, dum, lots of them are in the middle, whereas once you're in the doubles, they're all at the balance point because every string crossing happens between the up bow and the down bow. Yeah? Good. Okay, next huge, well, what is the next piece, Ed?
Amplitude.
Think about your blocks of book one. How do we describe the blocks of pieces in book one?
Is it me to
Oh,
go first next?
It's whoever wants to go next. Do you want to go next?
Yeah. I'm not going to word to them. Let me just turn my phone. For the sound. Yes.
How do we describe the blocks of pieces in book one?
It's folk songs,
Folk
studies,
songs,
and then
studies, then
pieces.
pieces. Which is
Right.
attitude.
That's a study.
Good. I'll give you a big clue. The next is the first of the pieces.
Minuet one.
Exactly. Yeah. Good. Minuet one, string crossing.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, we're not going to
Yeah.
play any pieces that don't have any string crossing in them, but it's a huge piece for string crossing.
Left hand what? Yes, but right hand
Kind of.
kind of.
Yeah.
Is it double string crossing? But that's more into minuet.
Yeah. I think the answer is no. I mean, yeah, we've talked about, obviously the string crossing and the double stops are connected by, yes, the string crossing in the left hand can be considered also preparing for double stops. So I feel like we've done the left hand and talking about double stops. Yeah, minuet 2 is the next big piece, isn't it? For string crossing. Loads of things about it, such as, what did you say?
Double string, crossing over 2
Good.
strings.
Is that the first time we've had that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Apart from the end of etude, going back into doubles.
Well, a retake makes it different, doesn't it? Good. Anything else? About minuet 2? Why is it a huge piece for string crossing?
Well, there's that sort of the first bar where
Yeah.
you're doing the A A E A E.
Exactly.
So
It's a very
over 3
strange
strings.
pattern. Yeah, exactly right.
You've got that slow, haven't
Yeah,
you?
slow.
On that, which is quite hard because I think.
Yeah. Good. And so minuet 3 obviously has loads of slurs, but I would say again it's like not a hugely important piece for string crossing. Next piece, Mimi.
What Hunter's chorus, I think. Is.
No, I'm scores to book 2.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright, I always do that.
Happy farmer.
Yeah, happy farmer.
Happy
Good,
farmer, something
yeah.
to do with age. Yes, I think it is. Yes.
Yes, can you tell us why?
Because of the hook bow in the first part, and then the subsequent quavers are quite tricky.
Good.
Crossings.
And then of course Gossack, which must be in every list of pieces that teach us lots of things. What particularly in Gossack, Bex? One thing?
You've got the double string crossing.
Yeah, loads of double string crossings. Excellent. Kit, something else?
Pizzicato.
For string crossing, I mean,
Technically you are string.
you are crossing the string in a new way. Yes, I'm not going to write it down. But you're not wrong. Freya? Something very broad.
I don't know, there's like string crossings that have slurs and like both fingers are down. Like in minuet 2 it was just A, D, D, whereas here we have a bit with fingers down.
Yeah, where are you thinking of?
I just had it.
Yes, you in
Yeah,
fact have
good
already
too.
sung it to us. Yeah, good. I mean, I'm not sure that you would make sure the 2 is down in advance, but you definitely need to make sure it's a legato string crossing. So yes. Also, just loads of string crossing between all 4 strings. Like etude, we were using all 4 strings, but it was quite a lot between D and A, and then between, going down towards G. It wasn't like all over the place like this pieces. If you just think about the first line or first 2 lines. Let's just play Gossack. Have you all got violins out?
Do you not think the last section? I always think that for string crossings, you've got the 4 slurs.
Yes, slurs, exactly.
And then you've got the
Yeah.
I think they find the last 2 lines. That's where they seem to give up.
Absolutely, it goes completely
Yeah,
mad. I'm
just
just
like,
going to get my violin.
Can't be bothered.
So if you know your example.
Yeah.
How about you? What are you doing?
Oh, you're not
Okay. I really like it though. I really okay. I'm teaching it to some of my students and I just it's such a nice song.
Which one's that?
Long ago.
Just in case I forget, level 2s, do play your Bach Bourrée as part of your rehearsal, even though you don't have to rehearse it with Brachio. Yeah. So just think about all the different things that are happening with the string crossing so that at the end we can make a bit more of a list. You're doing string crossings in the middle of slurs and semi-quavers.
Good. Slurred, semi-quaver, string crossings. Good. What else?
You're going from like D to E or like the big ones, those kind of ones?
Yeah, so that's what we call a double string crossing. Is if you've got if you're missing out a string. Just weird patterns, right? In fact, that's a poor example because that is just 2 notes on each string. But yeah, like a lot of all 4 strings, like we had in etude, but more complicated. All 4 strings, more mixed up, I think. Good. Book 2. What do you consider to be the first piece in book 2 that is really crucial for string crossing? Let's just run through the pieces. First piece, Mimi.
Judas.
Good. String crossing, delight.
No.
No. Ed, second piece.
Music.
Good. String crossing, delight.
Not particularly.
No. Good. Third piece, Mimi.
Contest chorus.
Good. String crossing.
There is yes.
Yeah.
With there are some tricky little quavers of the string crossing and the slur, and also the bum 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 bum.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Good. Next piece, Ed.
Long ago.
Oh, sorry, I didn't write it down. It's the slurs, really, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
That make it. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Slurred semis.
But there's one in the middle, isn't there? Which I think is
the do. We do often have to teach it to be better, but it's not sort of so different that it's.
on there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good. Okay, next piece, sorry.
Long, long ago.
Good. What's in it?
The variation,
That's
obviously, slurs and different patterns of string crossing within the same bow pattern.
Yes, and so it's sort of, it's the same as we were saying for double stops, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fingers down and crossing lots using ups. And I think it's the first pair of ups that we have on the G string, isn't it? Yeah, do,
Yeah.
do, including G. Good, next piece. Mimi?
Brahms.
Good.
Yes.
String crossing? Yes, why?
Because you're changing the speed of the bow with the slurs.
Slurs, yeah, slurs and speed. Good. Next piece. Good.
No.
No, I mean arguably, however you teach that, whether you use a 4, going from the D to the A to the E, or from the D straight over to the E, but it's a moment, it's not big enough to be really important. I agree. Good. Next piece, Mimi.
Grenadiers.
Good. String crossing.
I think, yeah, the opening bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Just that first bit.
Yeah, hooked. Opening. Hello.
I need to warm up first.
Right, maybe would you like to go next? Oh yeah, sorry, I should have set. That's all right, you can consider it to be your warm up, it's not the actual concert.
Oh, that's a big chord.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Right, so 2 grenadiers, hooked opening, anything else to do with string crossing and then 2 grenadiers?
String crossing, 2 grenadiers.
Think about the major section. Yeah, the trumpet part. And also I would argue that the down, down is a string crossing challenge, isn't it? Even though it's also a retake challenge. It's partly landing neatly on the A is more difficult than it would be if it was 2 E's. Hooked opening and fanfare section. Good. Next piece, Joe.
For string crossing.
After 2 grenadiers. No, we're just running through the order once more, so that we might have it really off pat soon.
Sorry, 2 grenadiers, witches dance.
Good. String crossing?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, arguably one of the big ones, yeah?
Yeah. Different ends of the bow, different rhythms, and that tricky bit before the run of triplets at the end.
Yeah, like hooked bows with different. I'm going to stop writing with string crossing because that's obviously what we're discussing. Hooked bows, triplets, speed. Yeah, good. Next piece.
Good one.
Which one? I mean, it's always a good guess, but
Mignon. One of them.
which is it? Mignon, then Lily. Think about your
I know.
mountain range. It would make more sense to me anyway to go witches dance, Lily, Mignon, because Mignon is way harder than Lily. But it's about that mountain range of learning. So you need a break after you've done witches dance, which is no, you would think that you need a break, but you don't get it.
And,
So Mignon, then Lily.
and to get it in your head, after the witch has done dancing, they see a birdie. Mignon's about a bird.
Right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Never knew that. How do you, based on, I
It's
mean,
from an aria, right?
it's from an opera.
Yeah, but it's about a bird. I think.
But
Anyway,
isn't
that's
it
how
from
I
the
know.
whole opera? It's not part of the aria, is it? Does anyone know this? I
I
have
just
no
see it
idea.
as Sappho birdies.
Okay. Well, I think you could also think that you have a martini first and mignon and martini both start with M, so the same thing can help you if you're more
Yeah.
suited to remembering by your booze.
Yeah, I was
like
just
I am.
thinking Lully, Minion, Lully, LM. It's not. Is it alphabetical? Or is it not alphabetical? I can't
It's
remember.
not
It's
alphabetical.
one of the two.
Mignon comes first. Mignon comes first. That is
Yeah.
correct, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
I'm very tired. Just want to double check. Right, Mignon, is it a big string crossing piece?
No.
Yeah.
Not a big one. Oh yeah, no it is, because I've got the double stops at the end.
Yeah, but it's pizzicato.
Good point.
I would say it's a bit like a Common for Children. It's a bit of a kind of grey area.
Oh,
I'm not going to write it
slurs.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
do you
the
mind
low
doing
ones
it?
just or dee 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 dee
Yeah,
dee.
that bit.
It's difficult. It's not that the string crossing is difficult. It's just that it's made so much more difficult by how difficult the left hand is. So therefore, I would say that you could argue either way. I'm not going to write it down, but don't forget about it. Next piece, Joe.
Lily got
String crossing.
no.
Not particularly. Next piece, Ed. How much do you love me right now?
My brain doesn't work
Would you like to play
yeah,
with?
later.
Well done. String crossing?
Yes.
Absolutely,
Later.
yes. Yes. Why?
Well, you've got all the upper staccatos, which are
Yes.
crossing loads of strings.
So it's the trio, isn't it,
Trio.
really? Yeah. Good. And-
Boccherini anyway.
Boccherini, well done. And am I writing it here?
PH, yeah.
I know how to spell it. I was just asking if you consider it to be a big string crossing piece, but I already wrote it down. So tell me why I consider it to be a big string crossing piece.
Octaves and trills.
Trills.
It's just more complicated, I think, when you think of it.
Yeah, there's one particular thing.
Um,
No. Maybe it doesn't really. I was thinking about the syncopation,
yeah.
but I don't think in terms of string crossing it's not really. I think it's more the slurs, isn't it?
Yeah, but I seem to remember being told that syncopation is noteworthy because it's the first time you have it.
Oh yes, definitely. Well done, Gold Star. Good. Okay. Good.
Book three.
Somebody take a picture. Level 1. Why don't you go and have a break unless you would like to stay and hear about book 3? What are we going to do next? Harmonics. Yeah.
Oh, we already did that stuff like that, the harmonics.
I think we may have done harmonics, yeah, when it was just.
We did something, I remember.
Yeah. I mean, harmonics takes about 2 seconds anyway, someone could just do it while we're talking right now. Go on, Ed.
Harmonics. Can put them in the it's
Good.
only well before
Before that?
Musette.
Yeah.
Would you include Allegro from book 1? Like, as an
Yeah,
exercise?
very good. Allegro from book 1 is an excellent place to teach that.
Teaching trinkles as well.
I mean, obviously you can teach it in anything, but in terms of pieces that you would put it in, I think we've covered pretty much what we needed to. Well done. Good. Okay, so book 3, string crossing. Start thinking about it while I clean the board, please. First piece in book 3 is
Martin. Go on.
good. String crossing.
I think a little bit.
Yeah, I think a little bit too. Why? I was thinking more of something else. Can you guess what I'm thinking of? In fact, it's Joe's favourite thing to talk about in my mind.
More or less.
More or less. Dee, 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 not. It's at the first place. It's really got to be kind of a sophisticated string crossing, slurred, more or less bow, isn't it? Because there's a string crossing, whereas in like musette, it's all D on one string.
Yeah.
So we're just going to put that in, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a huge thing.
More for phrasing, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, next piece. Ed.
Minuet.
Good.
Minuet.
String crossing. Good. Yes. So
Yeah.
slurred pairs.
Made more by the left hand, but
In
if you take
second.
the left hand out of it, then it's
Still quick, but
yeah.
what if you haven't done?
Good. Next piece.
G minor is the next piece, and no, nothing in there.
Not really. I mean, you could say it's more complicated because they're longer slurs, but that's not really worth
We
writing
should
down.
go over the slope,
Yeah. It's not really string crossing.
Not a big piece of string crossing.
Next.
but humoresque.
Yep.
Actual crossing the string rather than being on different strings.
String
Not really.
crossing in third
Not
position.
particularly for string crossing. Next piece, go.
Is Becky Gavot? Yes.
Why?
More slurs. Complicated left hand and slur.
Good. More slurred semis. Obviously over different strings, otherwise it wouldn't be on this list. Anything else in Becca?
No, I don't think so. I can't think now, just play it.
I mean, arguably, that's probably the
Yeah.
first time you have to. No, actually, well, only with the left hand accompaniment that is there. No, so I think just the slurred semis really. Next piece, I can't remember whose turn it is. Ed? It's like, I'm sure it's your turn, Joe.
D major.
Good.
Bach. I mean, there's just loads of it.
Yeah,
It's just all over.
yeah.
So, but is there anything particularly special or different other than it's just a whole load of it?
Keep thinking, keep thinking, keep thinking. Scan through the piece, scan through the piece. Halfway down the second page is,
Double stops.
yes, with.
Yeah. It's with
With a slur.
so it's
Hooked
hooked
bows,
yeah.
yes, and string crossing, yeah? Dee, 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 dee. Definitely, that's not just left hand. That is a string crossing challenge.
Oh.
Double stops with hooked, outrageous, hooked bows and dotted rhythms. Good. Last piece. Well, there we go, that gives it away, doesn't it?
Butler.
Bachbury, always on the list, yeah? Particular parts that are a challenge for the string crossing?
Yes, with the prelude to the chorus, the very first couple of bars.
Good, yeah.
So,
Very cool.
The opening, yeah.
yeah.
Also,
Those with different hands.
yes, what would,
The
how would we
voices.
refer to that exactly? Voicing? Or duet part, or how you want to refer to that. And also,
Oh,
what was that? You alright?
no, I think it's somebody just knocking the railing, and it sounded like he was leaning against the window.
Okay.
So I just.
It's okay, we will keep you safe, no one is coming to get you. Bachbury, anything else for string crossing specifically? Oh,
Yeah. Very fast down bow and slow up bow slap.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say that's a string crossing issue, but certainly the bit that Mimi, could you just play us what you were just playing, please? Because it's just the perfect moment. Yeah, so we've got thank you very much. We've got an up bow slur from A to E with an extension.
Yeah.
That's hard. And the other bit that is really, really tricky in that, brain. So there's that. Here. First of all, you get your first sort of hint of going towards very large. That bit. That's a really difficult new string crossing pattern to have. That's really, really tricky.
Alright, now practice that.
Good. Have a lovely rehearsal. Are you the last person to need to rehearse? Everyone else is done.
What other pieces are you guys doing?
I'm doing Becca.
So I'm the third piece. I'm doing the waltz, bronze waltz.
Does that imply that you might have changed your mind at the last minute if someone had said the same one as you? Interesting. Have a nice rehearsal. Can someone give me the bar number for that bit, please? So, maybe there'll be a video that you can watch of this bit. But book 3, we're kind of.
You're talking about the O in the end, so it's 4, 5, 13 onwards.
30
the
up
upbeat.
15.
Okay. Anything in the second half that we need to think about particularly?
What's looking great? I still think that. For me, it's that.
Is that
We've
bar
got
in?
crotchet, long crotchet slurs, but.
But is it string crossing that is tricky about that?
What about bar 23 in the ball ring? In the first one, that bit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously just loads of it in there. But I would say that that's a bow distribution issue, not a string crossing issue. Good, well done everybody. So what we agree really when we look at the book 3 list is that it's becoming moments rather than whole pieces dedicated to string crossing, and that's because you're basically, the children are getting quite fluent at using all 4 strings, so there are less new things to introduce. Barrelage is the thing that is coming in book 4, in whichever slice that is, slice 2 I think, and then that's kind of continued in book 5 with the F major handle. But essentially it's moments, and then Bach-Bourrée is, you know, tricky all the time, and that's more because it's a mountain piece than because it's specifically designed for string crossing. It's not like a string crossing sort of study, is it? It's just because it's so hard. One of the things that's so hard about it is the string crossing. Yeah, thank you.
Sort of big in the backside, I think, so, which is.
Yeah.